Everybody, this is Diana, aka Pop Culture Diva 42, and this is my big ol' Vampire Diaries rant. Uh huh, it's on. Vampire Diaries sucks ass this season. And I have to preface this by saying a couple of things. First of all, I never made any kind of apologies for Vampire Diaries. It is specifically for people who are into vampire shit. It is not a good show otherwise. It's not a good universal show like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead. Even if you're not into fantasy, even if you're not into horror or any of the other genres, you're going to you may like Walking Dead or Game of Thrones. This is not one of those shows. This is not one of those shows that you will like if you're not into vampire shit. And I'm into that kind of stuff. Like I watch True Blood. I watch the Being Human shows. I like vampire shit. That being said, if you would have asked me like last year or 2 years ago uh, about Vampire Diaries, I would have said, for all its faults, it does a lot of things good. It does a lot of things right. It has good plot structure, good character development. It sets up some things, and then there's always a good payoff. My personal favorite is the second season, but I think that's because there was such a huge jump in quality from the first season to the second season that's why I have such fond memories about it. The first season was okay. I think we got to learn more about the originals. The originals were okay characters. Klaus turned out to be a little bit of a disappointment as a villain because after bitching about conquering the world and whatnot, he wound up wasting time in Mystic Falls like everybody else. Like, you're such an amazing villain, but you're just hanging out in Mystic Falls like a loser. Okay, Klaus. But like I said, I would have not, last year, I wouldn't have been ashamed to say that I watch and like Vampire Diaries. This season, however, like, this is some hypocritical bullshit. What is going on with the show this season? They are acting like the show has absolutely no morality, no concern for its characters, and it's the hypocrisy. Honestly, it's the hypocrisy of it all. And if there's something that I hate, I detest, it is hypocrisy. Now, let me try and explain what I mean by Vampire Diaries being a hypocritical show. First of all, the character of Elena. Big problem that I have with Elena this season. And I never hated Elena. Never. Like, I know a lot of people hated her in the past for her indecision, for her blondness, for her propensity to get into trouble and get people into trouble around her. But I never I thought, she's a nice girl. She doesn't deserve to have bad things happen to her, and she doesn't deserve the hate, honestly. This season, Elena became a vampire. Every character flaw that she had has been exaggerated. Every positive attribute that she had no longer exists. Case in point, before it was kind of cute that Elena couldn't defend herself. Well, not cute, it was understandable. Everybody wanted her blood, her guts. Everybody wanted to kill her. She was a human. She couldn't defend herself. Now she's a vampire. She still cannot defend herself. She is still weak. She is not independent. She's not like Caroline. Caroline was a crappy character that was saved by vampirism. Vampirism is destroying Elena. She's messing around with the hearts of Damon and Stefan, who, Damon and Stefan, not exactly, honest citizens, but Elena didn't used to play mind games with them before, and she didn't used to jump from bed to bed. But again, and I did a review on this last episode, and somebody called me on it. Like, do you have a problem with girls sleeping around? Do you think that makes them whores? No, I don't have a problem with girls sleeping around. I have a problem with girls that sleep around and then act sanctimonious. I have a problem, like I said, with hypocrisy. And the fact that everybody treats Elena like she's still a saint and everything still revolves around her, even though she's a vampire, even though that she killed somebody in cold blood, I have a problem with that because supposedly now she's in a position where we can actually root for her. She can actually defend herself. She has fucking superpowers. Use them once in a while for something else than, being a bitch. Weak bitch, in fact. And the fact that everything still revolves around her. Okay, I understand this is a show about Elena. It will always be a show about Elena. But at least think of some good shit and not stuff that is. Like, for instance, a couple of episodes ago, a character that was pretty much an innocent. It was a one note character. He only appeared in one episode. He helped out in a particular situation. He helped out Stefan to save Elena. At the end of the episode, he had to be killed in cold blood in order for Elena to get rid of some brain washy shit. It was basically trying to make her kill herself. And in order for that to go away, this particular character that only appeared once and helped out had to die, like killed in cold blood. And this was a supernatural creature. He was a hybrid. And I know, like, I don't know if he was an innocent. He probably did some crappy shit at some point or other in his life. But for the purpose of this episode, he was presented as an okay dude. And Elena's brother had to kill him in cold blood at the end of it to save Elena. Big problem here. Big problem here. Because first of all, this is a show that has made it a point that it's okay to be a vampire or a werewolf or whatever. That doesn't mean you're not a person. That doesn't mean you don't have a conscience. That doesn't mean you don't have a soul. You still deserve to be happy. You still deserve to live your life, blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't be treated like a monster. And they treated this character like an object, like something to be cast away. Basically, contradicting everything about Vampire Diaries in the sense of, being a vampire is kind of like being just a normal person, but you have superpowers. Big problem there. Second problem that I have is that this was a character that helped out, wasn't innocent, didn't deserve to die. Third problem that I have is that nobody had a problem with it. Like, nobody had a problem with sacrificing somebody for the sake of Elena, except for Tyler, who Tyler was like, this is some bullshit right here. This is not supposed to be happening. So that's what pisses me off when I see that they make it revolve around Elena to the point of sacrificing some kind of moral fiber that this show is supposed to have. Like, I understand the point of moral ambiguity. Not everything is black and white. Not everything is good versus evil. But it should be more than good for Elena versus bad for Elena. That's not morality. That's not ambiguity. That is hypocrisy. That is like, we will sacrifice everything that we have set up in order to get Elena to the best possible situation and then create more crap in her life. Like, for instance, a big problem that I've had with Vampire Diaries since the beginning is the idea of the humanity switch. Now, the humanity switch is this thing that vampires are supposedly able to do where, when the regret and the shame of killing a lot of motherfuckers gets to them and they cannot control it anymore and it gets too much for them, they shut off their humanity. This has been a big thing, especially in the third season where Stefan had to go on for a long time with his humanity switch turned off. I always hated this. I always thought it's lazy ass writing instead of working for your issues to simply switch them off. However, in this particular episode where Elena was being mindfucked by the supernatural and she was supposed to be driven mad to the point where she killed herself by the regret and the shame and the blah blah blah. It was the perfect time to introduce the motherfucking humanity switch to Elena. It was the perfect time. All of a sudden, nobody was talking about the humanity switch anymore. Like, instead of killing this poor motherfucker who helped out, who was in the bad place at the bad time and was the bad kind of supernatural creature because he was a vampire. Instead of going through all this shit, why not simply have Elena turn off her motherfucking humanity switch? Ta-da! Save the day! Yeah, that did not happen. Instead, they killed a poor innocent motherfucker for the sake of Elena. And nobody had a problem with it. Caroline was like, Well, we needed to help our friend. Bitch, shut up. And on the point of Caroline, I like Caroline. Like I said, I think the vampirism saved her. But I hate the fact that Caroline gave shit to Elena about her loving Damon. And Caroline, honestly, Elena deserves shit over that, don't get me wrong. Because Damon and Stefan, they're serial killers. And they're assholes. But Caroline, when talking to Elena about Elena falling in love with Damon, all Caroline could come up with in terms of arguments was, ew, Damon, that makes me barf. Like, why don't you bring up the fact that he kidnapped you, molested you, mind fucked the shit out of you throughout the entirety of season 1? Why don't you bring that up when you're trying to convince Elena that Damon is bad news? No, all Caroline came up with, ew. Like, for fuck's sake, man. And then Elena, something else that pissed me off about that scene is that Elena turns around and Caroline, thank you for making a bad situation better. Like, bitch, you did not just mouth off at Caroline, who last episode offered a poor innocent motherfucker as a sacrifice in order to save your ass. When the show revolves around you and everybody scrambles to save your life and to protect your existence, you should not be mouthing off to anybody. The only words that are supposed to come out of your mouth are thank you and I'm a worthless piece of ass. But I am very pretty. Yeah, that's something else that really, really pissed me off about the episode from this last week. Also, another little bit of hypocrisy. Thank you, Vampire Diary writers. So, for the entire episode this last week, Elena was going, I'm different, I'm so changed, I'm a new person. Okay, that was in regards to her feelings towards Damon. When Jeremy wanted to kill her, because Jeremy now has a vampire hunter curse or something on him. He's a vampire hunter, basically. When Jeremy wanted to kill her, Elena all of a sudden was like, but I'm still your sister. I'm still the same person. I would never kill you. I would never hurt you. Bitch, you killed him last week. How limited is the memory of these people that they have Elena say something like, I will never hurt you, in the context of her killing her brother last week. Outside of the fact that she spent the whole episode trying to convince people that she's a different person, but then towards Jeremy, she's exactly the same person. So which is it? Like I said, the show has gotten extremely hypocritical. And I think that the most telling thing in this regard, the most telling plot turn is, I don't ship Damon and Elena. I don't ship Stefan and Elena. I don't ship anybody in the show except for Tyler and Caroline sometimes, because even they get on my nerves. But I respect all the people that do ship Damon and Elena. And I know there are a lot of them. There are probably more of them than for Stefan and Elena. So this episode, when Damon and Elena, after 4 years of sexual tension, finally got to fuck, I was happy for all the Damon and Elena shippers, okay? Out of some kind of fan base empathy, I was happy for you. I was just like when Suki fucked Eric on True Blood. That's what a lot of people want to see. They care about their soft porn, have at it. Be happy. Be a happy little fangirl or fanboy. So yeah, like I said, even though it doesn't personally affect me, I was like, okay, fine. After 4 years, here you go. All the Elena people can now be happy Damon and Elena are fucking. But while this was going on, while they were finally having sex, Stefan and Caroline were in a room somewhere plotting and trying to make us believe that it doesn't count because Elena has been sired to Damon. And that's the reason why she has feelings for him, even though she's had feelings for him for a long while. But I just like, how douchebaggy is that you cannot wait 5 fucking minutes for this scene to be over. It's so hypocritical, but because when Stefan and Elena fucked, everything stopped. It's epic fucking time. Now, when Damon and Elena finally do it, we have to be told at the same time that they're doing it that it doesn't count because she is sire to him. Oh my god. If you're a Elena shipper, you got screwed. You may or not be aware of it, but you got screwed. If I was an Elena shipper, I would be royally pissed off. As it goes, it's another drop in a pretty big camel. In a that's like, it's another reason to hate this fucking show this season. And also this season we have a character called April Young, which to me is incredibly sad. I don't know if they're aware of what they're doing, but the character of April Young is incredibly sad. It's like she is Carrie without Carrie's superpowers. Everybody is dismissive of her. Everybody, when she talks to them, they're interested in something else, going somewhere else. She has no idea what's going on. She's being used half the time. She's the perpetual victim. She's the wallflower. She's sad. She's just so sad. And I don't have anything against the actress. The actress just has to work with what she's given. Obviously, I desperately want in the season finale for April Young to go medieval on these bitches and just get some Carrie-like superpowers and just kill some motherfuckers, because it is appalling how she's being treated as a character. Ignored, used, manipulated. Like, she's a rag doll. She's basically a rag doll, and it's pissing me off to no end, because I just think nobody should be treated like that. This is a show where everybody's gorgeous, everybody gets superpowers, and why do we need to have a poor pathetic girl who, like, when she's talking to you, you have to look somewhere else and you have to go somewhere else because there's always crazy supernatural shit going on. It's another example of the scriptwriters being jerks. So I don't know what else to say. So yeah, Vampire Diaries, these last 2 weeks have been incredibly infuriating for me, like, in terms of watching the episodes. There is just becoming a hypocritical show. They don't play by the rules that they have established. They are sacrificing characters. They are sacrificing good plot lines, and overall, I think it's not past the point of no return. I think this season can still be saved, but Elena needs to get her act together soon. And the scriptwriters need to stop prologuing the romantic triangle and doing it in a crappy way. And please, for fuck's sake, save April Young. Do something with April Young, because it is... she needs to kill some bitches, is all I'm saying.